Hello and welcome to the Whoniversity of Law. In today's video, it's a bit of a collection update. I know I'm frequently asked if people can see the whole collection. Often I do collection updates when I get a new big finish or a new box set or Blu-ray release. So it's been a couple of years since people have been asking, and I thought, why not do that now? Obviously, I'm a few days away from getting the Season 7 box set, and obviously War Games and the Savages are both on their way. But I can always do updates later. So you'll see at the top of my unit, I have got all of the Doctors in order. Obviously, with the War Doctor in the middle. You can see just behind them, you've got the Legacy of Time, which is the big finish 20th anniversary set. And if I take you up, we've also got in the distant future the Curator. So originally, in the last house, what I did have was I had all of the Doctor Who stories, the Doctor's timeline in order, with the big finishes slotted into their canonical place between adventures. Of course, that got increasingly difficult with the collection sets because they're no longer in story, organised as story, so you couldn't really slot them in. And then, of course, I just found that I was having CDs on DVD size shelves. I mean, there was whole kind of shelves of particularly McGann CDs that just it was a waste of space really, because I could have probably had a couple of rows in there, so I can actually fit more CDs in if I put them on CD sized shelves. It makes sense when I show you. So what I've done now is I've got all the televised stories here at the top, which I'll show you through first, and then I go on to the big finishes in canon order after that. So you can see I've got the Hartnells to begin with. What I can't believe now is just having stories like Galaxy 4, Ancestor Tourmaker that we never, and of course soon the Savages will be in place, which we never thought we were going to have on the shelf. I can't wait to see them in box set form as well. And you'll notice there's a few paper cases here. That is my homemade reconstructions and made from officially purchased soundtracks using, where possible, the telly snaps from the BBC website. So here we've got Season 1, obviously, where we have the Doctor begins his journey with Ian, Barbara and Susan, into Season 2 as a collection set. Then through the mainly missing Season 3, although looking at it, we're getting quite close now to completing Season 3. Then the big one, of course, moving into the second Doctor, is Season 4, which is almost complete now. I mean, this is just one that I never thought we'd ever see on the shelf, so that's just incredible to have the Eve of the Daleks as a DVD. So yeah, we've moved through from Ian and Barbara leave to Vicky and Stephen, through to Stephen and Sarah Kingdom, through to Stephen with Dodo, and then Ben, Polly and Jamie with the second Doctor. And now as we get into Season 5, we have the Victoria adventures with second Doctor Victoria and Jamie, and into Season 6, where we have Victoria replaced with Zoe. And then, of course, we've got the third Doctor, Season 7, soon to be replaced with the Blu-ray box set. You'll notice all my sets have got the Steelbook Central cases on them to protect them from the elements. Season 8 and 9 and 10. What's happened here? Must have been getting these prepared for next week. We've got Season 11 there. Season 12. We have got Season 13. We've got Season 14 and 15 as well. Now, this is it's a CD. This was slightly too big to fit with the big finishes, so I popped it here. It is a BBC set. It is the Nest Cottage Chronicles. So these are kind of set between Season 15 and 16, and it has the Doctor with Mrs. Bibbsey, Mike Yates, and all sorts of extra surprises and characters in there as well, which I won't spoil here. We've then got the Season 16, Key to Time. Season 17, again, this big finish wouldn't fit with the other CD, so it's here. It's the Romance and Crime and the English Way of Death, the two novel adaptations that fit here in this slot between Season 17 and 18. And then we have the Fifth Doctor, the incredible Season 20 there alongside Season 19, which I also really enjoy. Great to see the amount of special effects we have on these new 80s sets in particular. And then we finish off with Season 21, which debuts the Sixth Doctor. And then we've got Season 22 and 23. We have got The Worlds of Doctor Who, The Last Adventure, 2 of the Sixth Doctor audio box sets. These are off-air recordings of Colin Baker enrolled as the Doctor on various appearances on 80s television, and also the webcast of Real Time. You'll see the CD version later. Then we've got all of McCoy on Blu-ray. And again, Dimensions in Time, Search Out Space, Search Out Science, Destiny of the Doctors, all here from off-air recordings. TV movie on Blu-ray. I've got Sharda here, the steelbook, because Sharda is already on the season 17 set, and this has got the webcast, the Paul McGann 8th Doctor Return to Sharda. Then we've got this item, which is the 8th Doctor collection. It's 4 of the first 5 stories that you did for Big Finish. This was a re-release. I didn't know this was going to become a rare item, but when I did get it, I was at school and I'd gotten a voucher. I'd got some school award, and I used that voucher at Waterstones to get this box set, and I'm very glad that I did. It's a really great set with a great documentary on it. The Light at the End, of course. Then we have got Engines of War, which again is a BBC audiobook. It was too big to fit on the Big Finish shelf. I've included it here because anything in the Time War I include on my shelf. So I know it's technically not full cast, but there's some full cast Dalek scenes, so I keep it here. Then we have got the series 1 to 4 specials collection set, complete 9th and 10th Doctor basically. These are various off-air recordings of David Tennant from Children in Need, etc. This is the 10th Doctor Adventures, volume 3, because my first 2 volumes are small enough for the shelf. I got that one in the big one because I like the idea of the artwork that came in the book. Then we move on to these limited editions they did in the 2010s. Series 5, Series 6. Moving on to the 11th Doctor now. Series 7. And then we've of course got Day of the Doctor in 3D. And the 50th Anniversary Collection. All of these you can see here, again, are all off-air recordings. I know in particular they really took off during the Matt Smith era, having those extra minisodes and appearances of the 11th Doctor in various productions. Then we have got the complete Peter Capaldi years, including his appearance in Class as well. Then we move on to the Jodie Whittaker years. We've got Series 11. We've got the appearance in the 2 video games that were made, the Weeping Angel one and the Edge of Reality, or the Edge of Time, as it was on VR. Then we've got Series 12, Revolution of the Daleks, Flux. Then we move on to the specials. And then we've got the 60th specials with the 14th Doctor, and right up to date with Season 1 with the 15th Doctor. And then just as a bonus at the end, we've got the 2 Peter Cushing films on 4K. And then moving down, we have got, so the first one is the River Song story, which takes place before An Unearthly Child. And then what I've basically done is I have to say, the thing with me and Big Finish is I would buy everything, so I have to give myself limits because I just haven't got the space for everything. So my little rule is that with the shelf, what goes on the shelf is anything where there is an actor not just reading the Doctor but playing the Doctor. So what you find is if you have William Russell, or you have Peter Purves playing the first Doctor, or you have Fraser Hines playing the second Doctor, I include those. I include recasts for the first 3 Doctors, provided there's an original member of the cast on there. I guess find otherwise I wouldn't have enough space. So it's either an original cast member playing the Doctor, or it is for the first 3 Doctors only. I will take a new actor, provided there's an original cast member involved. The exception is the War Doctor, because anything in the Time War I include because it's all a part of this great web of stories. So we've got David Bradley, obviously, who did play the part on television several times. It's mainly at this point early adventures, lost stories. Yeah, that's it really. First Doctor Adventures. There's some great stuff here. In particular, the Perpetual Bond, Cold Equations First Wave is a great trilogy. And all of the Rocket Men stories are incredible. I've really enjoyed these new box sets with Stephen Noonan's First Doctor meeting all the classic companions. If you see a white case, it is because it is a It is a companion chronicle where I've bought the download and I've put the stories in the canonical order, because the actual physical set doesn't include them all. It's all in one set, but they're not chronological. So I've kind of just split them up and put them in the right place, basically. So then we move on to the second Doctor. Again, at this point, it's mainly lost stories with the odd companion chronicle. And then as we move through, we get the Shadow of Death, great anniversary story there. A Sixth Doctor story, but it's kind of the Sixth Doctor swapping place with the second Doctor. I thought it made sense more in the lore of the Cybermen and the history of the Doctor to put it here. And then we've got the incredible second Doctor adventures. You will notice that I've got volume 1 here when it's a recast with no classic companion back, and that's really because you just can't have the saga without that first set. Then we've got Diary of River Song, new recruit. Technically River Song there becomes the regular cast member in there. The Annihilators, which has obviously got Fraser Hines as Jamie in that set. And then, mainly we've got Lost Stories, we've got Companion Chronicles, we've got Main Range, we've got Third Doctor Adventures. And then that brings us up to the Fourth Doctor. Let's start with the Amazing Curse of Time. You'll notice that I have only included the Ark and not the Return of the Cybermen. That's because I only include Lost Stories which can fit within the existing canon, as opposed to those that are kind of giving us a what-if scenario. So, for example, the new Cyberman story coming out, Genesis of the Cybermen, won't go on the shelf. I am getting it, but it won't go on the shelf. Then Doctor Who Scratchman, Tom Baker reads it, and he does read it in character at times. Well, he's reading it in the first person, so it's taken as being a full cast story with him recounting a story there. Got the Amazing Time of Victorious as well. And then the incredible Destination Nova. I remember listening to that and just couldn't believe my ears that Tom Baker was finally recording again. And that and Foe from the Future came around the same time, didn't they? And then the Fourth Doctor does continue on the next shelf with his first series. The special release, do you remember those? They were quite good, weren't they? Season 3, Philip Hinchcliffe Presents. We got his appearance in the 8th of March set. There we go. Shadow of the Sun, that was a cool one, wasn't it, during lockdown? That and Dalek Universe. His appearance in the Paternoster Gang, in Morbius, which in my head takes place when he's in the Matrix during Deadly Assassin or in Invasion of Time, and he's projected from the Matrix during those stories. So there we have it. Tales from the Vault, a nice companion chronicle with lots of different eras in. I put it here because it has Romana in, so it kind of needs to be here. But it includes, I think, earlier Doctors. Comic strip adaptation, that was a cool set. I'd love to see more of them. It says volume 1, we haven't had a volume 2 yet. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? And then moving on to the Fifth Doctor. You can see Cold Fusion is here with a double Doctor, but it's technically it was a Fifth Doctor novel, wasn't it? So I've put it here with a Seventh Doctor being a future Doctor appearing on the shelf here. And then the Fifth Doctor continues on the next row. That was a really good River Song box set, actually. I really enjoyed Goth Opera. You can check my review out on the channel. This was a really good series, featuring the return of Nyssa. It was a really good one. Really good run of stories, really strong run of stories. You'll notice there's a little black case there. That is the No Place Like Home Doctor Magazine exclusive, I believe. Yeah. And the one over here is Cuddlesome. I think what I've done, if I can show you, is I've just popped the original case inside a protective case there, just so that it's more secure. Then we've got the Sixth Doctor. He's very prolific at Big Finish. I've actually recently repositioned my Sixth Doctor stories. I originally had my own sort of logic to how it worked, that I kind of had the stories in order, so I put them in order of companion. For example, it's Perry, then it is Evelyn, and then it is Flip, and so on. And then basically, if he was in a story without a companion, I basically slotted it in the last gap to the saga we were in. So, for example, if he was recording with Evelyn at the time, I'd say that any solo stories happened before he met Evelyn, for the purposes of there being a kind of coherent story, that you kind of had that character development. You weren't missing anything if you slotted it in later. However, the most recent, well, the Sixth Doctor story last year, the kind of, was it Quinn Dilemma or Trials of a Tom? Well, I think it was Quinn Dilemma, gave us a definitive order to the companions. It was different to the one that I'd thought. So I've rearranged everything around that, including the wonderful Frobisher stories, and I hope we get more of them maybe in a future comic strip box set. So you'll notice, take note of how I've ordered these, but it's based on the order he gives of his companions in that wonderful little scene. I kind of played it over and over and over again on a loop. I made a note of the order he gave. You'll notice later stories like Born to Die are kind of slotted in the most realistic position for them. I think this case here, you'll notice throughout the Sixth Doctor's era, this case is a placeholder for the various stories that take place during the last adventure, simply because when I'd like to do my marathons and work through the whole story, I like to make sure I listen to everything in the right order. And sometimes you find that if the box set is organised in such a way that you can't split the CDs up, you have to find ways of making a note to yourself to remember to listen to certain things in a certain order. Here it is, the Quinn Dilemma. Then moving on to the Seventh Doctor Adventures. Now again, this in particular was a really strong run of stories from the Harvest onwards, and it all comes together, if I can find the next shelf, in this wonderful trilogy of Protect and Survive, Black and White, Gods and Monsters, which then launches into another really cool saga as well. And this, I listened to this the other day actually. Project Nirvana is a lovely companion chronicle, which kind of adds a little bit to your listening experience. This was a nice trilogy actually, the Quantum Possibility Engine, and it really came together in the most recent Seventh Doctor finale. So there's his appearance. We've got all the new adventures here. So the novel adaptations along with the main range set during that period. 8th of March, 7th Doctor Adventures there. New adventures, I should say. His appearance in some of the Beneath Summerfields. And then you find here, this is my original Siren to Time, but I put it on the top now because I've got the Redux. You notice I've also got the Death Comes to Time webcast. This is an MP3 CD, so you can actually watch the webcast on it, which is really cool. I think we did glaze over, didn't we? We missed the Sixth Doctor one earlier, but we did have the. I'll show it to you in a minute. In fact, I can find it now. We've got real time there. I think it's also worth noting with the Sixth Doctor that we've also got Perry and the Piscon Paradox. Where is it? It's there somewhere. I completely missed it. Oh, there it is. Perry and the Piscon, just at the corner there. And that's a companion chronicle, but the Sixth Doctor appears in it like the Seventh Doctor appears in Project Nirvana. And the Sixth Doctor also appears in Beyond the Ultimate Adventure, which continues from the Ultimate Adventure, which were name-checked in the Quinn Dilemma. So where were we? Then we've got the older Seventh Doctor now coming towards the TV movie. Doctor and Karnaki, The Last Day. And then we move into the Eighth Doctor, Company of Friends, the Mary Shelley trilogy. And then, of course, Sharda I've got on the webcast on the shelf up there. And the first few stories with Charlie. And that goes into Minuet in Hell and at the beginning. And all the recent box sets we've had with Charlie. Continuing on that really strong run. Up to Zagreus, into The Next Life. Back to our universe again. After a little detour. And then we have, oh yeah, that's the latest Centauran set, isn't it? And then into the Lucy Miller stuff, into the Dark Eye stuff. I've popped some of his most recent companionless appearances here because it was kind of the only spot where he's not travelling with anyone. It just made sense to put these sets here because he's definitely in that era of his life, but he's without a companion, so I put those there. And then that was also where the Peladon set would go if it wasn't with the 10th Doctor. Again, because the CDs can't be separated, I've had to put it with the latest Doctor and just make a mental note to include it in my marathons. Then we go through to Doom Coalition. Then we've got Ravenous. The Robots takes place between Ravenous 1 and 2. His appearance there. Into the Ravenous saga, straight to Stranded. Into the more recent sets. And then we've got the Time Lord Victorious, Master. And then the Time War begins. And you might want to pause and just note how I've chosen to order these Time War stories. Kind of using clues on Twitter from those in the know where possible. And then that carries on through the Time War saga into the War Doctor. The young War Doctor begins, of course. I'm going right along the floor now. Then, yeah, that carries on. We've got Once and Future. Then we've got the War Doctor series there. We've got stories set on the final day of the Time War. I've got these War Masters right at the end. Made sense to put them there, with the Cruciform and him escaping and the real terrors taking hold. No hope left. Then we've got the 9th Doctor. Who'd have thought we'd have had these? And then this is where I run out of shelf. So, if you bear with me, this is where I now come to the next shelf. And we carry on. And of course, we've now announced we've got the 9th Doctor and Rose coming. We've got the 2nd season of 10th Doctor Stories, the 1st season. We've got the Donna Noble set, which is set within Volume 1 of the 10th Doctor, believe it or not. We've got the 10th Doctor and River Song, these incredible stories that were all recorded during lockdown. Out of Time, Dead Air, which again is a first-person story, so it's full cast. His cameo in Doctor's Daughter. We've got, I think this is obviously some kind of off-air recording, maybe the Sarah Jane story that I recorded on DVD at the time. We've got Diary of a Song is a mini appearance in that, Out of Time, The Incredible Dalek Universe. This is a custom-made cover I printed myself for Echoes of Extinction because it never got a CD release. I was quite pleased actually with how that came out, and it's got, oh no, I'm hoping the wrong one. There we go. And I made it reversible as well. When you open it up inside, I've done the reversible sleeve on the inside cover, so I was quite pleased with that. Maybe we'll do an unboxing of that at some point. Then we've got his appearance in the Peladon. Spoiler alert, he is in it. It's been a couple of years. Out of Time 3, War Master appearance, Classic Companions, and that's it really. I think this must be his secret, the Secret of Novice Hame. And then sometime in the future, we find ourselves with the Curator, with the unit Nemesis. Obviously he appears in other stories, but this is the only set they've done so far with the Curator on his own. So there we have it, the complete Doctor Who across a unit of shelving and beyond, and obviously that will continue to grow. So what do you think? What's your collection like? Do let me know in the comments below. How do you choose to curate and organise your collection? I'd love to hear. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I look forward to speaking to you soon.